Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We got producer Patrick Seatman riding shotgun with us in today's video. And we got a lot to talk about in today's show. 4 different segments in today's video. As we all know, the Knicks, they've made a couple of moves this offseason, but they still have a roster spot that they could fill on this team, and they can only do it in NBA free agency with the veteran minimum. So in today's show, we're going to show you 5 guys that I think the Knicks could look at for the veteran minimum NBA free agency. I also have 5 bold predictions for the 2023 season. We got a live Q&A, and we're also talking trade ideas. So we got a bunch to get to in today's show. I appreciate everybody already getting in this piece. 120 people in this freaking show as we just went live. Shout out to you guys. You guys have been awesome this summer. Really appreciate the support. You guys really are the engine the fuel to the engine that we have here at Knicks Now. Let's get the comment section going though in today's show. Let's hit a real one roll call down in the comment section. If you're a real one, drop a real one. As my man 90s Knicks. I got a little beef with my man 90s Knicks.
Oh yeah?
As Seeps is in the building. My man 90s Knicks is one of these first people to watch every single video that we put out. But he has been claiming that we do repost videos. But what he doesn't understand is we talk about the segments in the live show, 90s Knicks, and then we put them out on the channel later because not everybody gets to watch the live show. So I don't want you to think that we're putting out the same videos over and over again.
It's almost like he's too much of a real one.
He's too much of a real one.
He wants more content.
But look, I can only do so much.
I mean, I'm kind of in his camp right now. He's
feel
watching
ya.
all the live shows. He doesn't want to see them again.
He commented, he was like, bro, I just heard you say this last night at 1 a.m. I'm like, bro, I appreciate it, but we ain't reposting.
That is the definite. You're almost too much of a real one. That's all it is.
Almost. I'm just messing with you, but just wanted to explain what we got going. We do the live show, and then we do the videos in between the live show, and we put them out on the channel because not everybody gets to join us here on Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people have work. Some people don't. But that's what it is. Shout out to you guys. My man John Murdoch in the chat. Jay Liv, Tyler, 90s Knicks, and one edits. Joseph Gordon, Hulu Caesar. Zach says too much of a real one.
Too much of a real one.
Honestly, shout out to Randy Hamilton. He says, you guys are crazy if you think keeping Grimes or IQ over RJ Barrett. He said, like I said, I love you guys. My man Crimmy in the chat says, I'm not here. Can't see you, Crimmy. Can't see you. Tuesday says, how you doing, Green? I'm doing all right. But Seeps, check out that live poll that we got going right now. I said, if you could only pick one of these guys to keep, it was RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and Quentin Grimes. And we are neck and neck right now. Wow. We are neck and neck. 33, we've had 123 people vote. 33% have said they wanted to keep RJ Barrett. 30% said Immanuel Quickley. And 37 said Grimes. Very close.
I thought Grimes would have been last out of these 3. Like, amongst Knicks fans, I thought Grimes would have the lowest amount of votes so far.
Kind of wild. We'll ask you right now in the chat, though, if you could only pick one of these guys to keep, who would it be? Type 5 for IQ, 9 for RJ Barrett, or 6 for Quentin Grimes. Who are you keeping out of these 3?
I've been in the Grimes camp. All right, it's funny enough. Grimes is probably the worst player on this list. Like right now in their NBA career, like skill-wise, Grimes is probably the worst one. I think he's probably got the most value on the market, maybe. I don't know, I say that, but I think all 3 of them might have pretty similar value. I would just keep Grimes because I think he's more of a winning piece, especially if the Knicks do end up trading some of these guys for a superstar. I think Grimes would fit in better next to a superstar rather than guys like IQ and obviously RJ, but I'd probably go Grimes, even though he is probably the least developed out of these 3. But yeah, I go QG.
Yeah, I go back and forth between Quickley and Grimes, just because, like, as a Knicks fan, which all of us are watching this video, I'm 28 years old. I think I'm 28. Yeah, I'm 28. I'll be 29 in October. I've seen a lot of bad point guards play for this team.
Yeah.
Before Jalen Brunson, I always like to say, like in football, you're in quarterback hell. Like the Indianapolis Colts have been in quarterback hell since Andrew Luck retired. The Knicks have been in point guard hell forever until they had Jalen Brunson. So I don't hate the idea of having two really good point guards in Quickley and Brunson, but I liked your point a lot of where you said, we all know the Knicks are going to make a trade for a star. Sooner or later, the Knicks will make a trade. Yeah. And probably two of these guys are going to be gone. It's just a fact right now. And if I had to keep one of them, I think Grimes would fit the best next to a star, like you said, because he doesn't need the ball. He's a great point of attack defender. He's a catch and shoot player on offense that can knock down threes. Like, he requires the least game planning to be the most effective. And I think you need those kind of connector and kind of just filler pieces next to these stars.
However, we did see when Brunson went out of the game in last year's playoffs, the lack of a secondary ball handler for the Knicks was probably the reason they lost to the Miami Heat. But if you had to focus in on one reason, it was nobody else could handle the ball besides Quickley. And Marsh, I just kind of thought about this when you were ranting. With the addition of Donte DiVincenzo, do you think it lowers Grimes' value on the Knicks a little bit?
I do think that
since they're similar plays,
the Knicks signing DiVincenzo was kind of an insurance and depth piece for when they do inevitably trade two of these guys.
Yeah.
Because he is kind of what you want Quentin Grimes to be, right? Good defender, hustle plays, IQ, can handle a little bit, can create for others, can knock down threes. The Knicks didn't need Donte DiVincenzo, but you trade two of these guys, then you do need Donte DiVincenzo. So,
and also, who's your backup point guard?
If you lose IQ, I don't know.
Like, let's just say the trade for RJ Barrett is, IQ and RJ or whatever.
Yeah, IQ and RJ for a star. You don't have a backup point guard, and we love Chenzo, but I don't think he's a backup point.
Yeah, especially in the play. Dude, the Knicks offense looks so bad against the Heat when Brunson wasn't out there.
It was awful. It was Miles McBride dribbling the air out of the ball for 23 seconds and didn't move, just dribbling it.
God, so I was probably in the camp before we had this conversation. Quentin Grimes, no doubt. I'm kind of split right now between Grimes and IQ, I'm not going to lie.
I am too, but what about this? Can you pay Immanuel Quickley $20 million and can you pay Jalen Brunson $40 million? Can you allocate $60 million in salary cap space per year to 2 point guards? Albeit, some of the Knicks' best rotations and lineups were with Quickley and Brunson on the floor, but then you are small. But Quickley can play off ball. He's almost better off ball. It's a really freaking tough discussion.
I know. I just think all right, let's just say you keep Grimes and you got Hart, DiVincenzo, and Grimes at that kind of, 2-3 wing spot coming off the bench. They're all pretty similar. Would you rather have, Hart, DiVincenzo, and Quickley? So Quickley's kind of a different speed than those other two guys. A little more skilled, can put the ball in his hands a little better. But that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. RJ, though, would need to get moved if you bring in a star, especially a guy like Paul George. RJ just wouldn't really have a spot on the floor.
I continue to get bashed by Knicks commenters because Marshall's always trading RJ Barrett. But Seeps, I have a question for you. Well, a couple of questions right here.
Yeah.
Who was the main piece in the Donovan Mitchell trade that the Knicks were willing to give up?
RJ.
Okay. What about the reported trade for Paul George that came out? Who was the main piece in that?
RJ.
Okay. So if the Knicks have now offered RJ Barrett in multiple trades, why am I not allowed to do it? Yeah. Why can't I just read the tea leaves? I think it's pretty obvious.
And plus,
if the Knicks trade for a star, RJ's gone.
And if you're another team trading for one of these three guys and you're in a full rebuild, you would probably want RJ, maybe IQ. But RJ's probably got the most potential out of these three just because due to his stature and everything, being a really solid 3-and-D wing. But I don't know.
If the Knicks offered RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell, the Knicks have offered RJ Barrett for Paul George. I think the writing's on the wall that RJ Barrett is not going to retire a New York Knick. And I don't love that.
How about this? And you guys can also answer in the chat. Is RJ Barrett on the Knicks at the end of the season? Right now, where you're at,
I don't think he does. And we'll talk about it in my bold predictions in a little bit. I don't think R.J. Barrett is on this team long term. And I just based that off the fact that the Knicks have been in serious trade talks for 2 star players in Donovan Mitchell and R.J. Barrett and Paul George.
Yeah.
And his name has been linked in both of those trade discussions. So I would love to see R.J. Barrett play for the Knicks for 20 years and be the homegrown star. But like we'll outline in a little bit, this window to win and really build your team roster and cement yourself in the sand is these next 2 years while Jalen Brunson is on the most value deal in the NBA.
Seriously.
That value only matters, Seeps, if you take advantage of it. Like,
Exactly.
It's cool to give Leon Rose a little pat on the butt and say, good job, getting Jalen Brunson on that value deal. But if you don't do anything with it, it doesn't matter except a little butt tap.
This is like the quarterback on the rookie deal in the NFL.
Yep.
Take advantage of it. Like, we've seen, like, the Bills, the Bengals. Like, they went all in around their guys. I think the Knicks need to do the same thing with Jalen Brunson. Say, like, because realistically, Jalen Brunson should be making $40, $50 million a year.
And he will in 2 years. Maybe he takes a discount. I don't know, but
I know.
He shouldn't. He should go get his bread. He deserves it.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage of this.
You really, really do. We got 250 people watching. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you could, hit that thumbs up icon. Like I said, 250 people watching, only 50 likes. What are we doing? Let's get up to 125 likes. Let's at least get a 50% participation rate. If you haven't yet, hit the thumbs up icon. We're not starting the show till we get to 125.
No, I'm not. There's no chance we start this show.
There is not a chance. If you have liked the video, I want you to type me in the comments section. I want to know who is showing love to the channel as we are live here on a Tuesday afternoon talking about the latest news and rumors. My man 90s Nick showing love in the comments. We appreciate you. Peter Wynn back again from an MVP performance on Friday where we took down the Las Vegas Raiders report. Bow down to all you guys. It's pretty funny, Peter. The Raiders report is actually live right now.
Yeah.
And I walked by their studio and I was like, so y'all want a super chat battle today? And they're like, no, man, we can't do that today.
Yeah,
we
scared.
can't do that today. They said maybe Friday. So I don't know if I want to let them get their lick back just yet.
Yeah.
But they're scared and they have been put on notice.
I mean, we got to get the brooms out for Friday. If we're
Friday would be 4-0 versus the Raiders report.
That would be the sweep.
That would quite literally be 4-0 versus the Raiders report. But Peter, we appreciate the super chat. My man, he says, hello, Marshall and Pat Seatman. R.J. Barrett, young player, keep him. Knicks need young players. Quickley and Grimes are young too, though.
Yeah. I think maybe he's just getting at that, like, RJ's like,
He's
23. He is a cornerstone piece.
He is. You picked him 3rd overall. He's 23 years old. Do you necessarily want to trade R.J. Barrett, a 23-year-old, for a 33-year-old in Paul George? But what I would say is, if you are serious about contending for an NBA Finals, you make that trade.
Yeah. And I will ask this. You take RJ's season as a whole. You cut out, I know this is getting nitpicky, but you cut out that little 8-game run he had in the playoffs. Knicks fans are calling for his head right now. Like, it's not like he had a great regular season.
He did not. Shot 31% from 3. He got marginally better around the rim. He was one of the worst catch-and-shoot three-point players in the league. Wait till you guys see his steals per game and deflections per game. It's embarrassing how bad he was on defense this year. And everyone loves to use the argument, Seeps, but when he's engaged, he's a good defender. Well, be freaking engaged.
That's not like,
Is it not a problem that he's not always engaged?
That's like, oh, I only do well on the test when I study. Study.
Do it all the time. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for R.J. Barrett. I was the guy pounding the table last summer saying not to trade R.J. Barrett for Donovan Mitchell, but then I saw him take a step back this past year in the regular season. Had a really good postseason run, that little 8 games, but it's 8 games.
Yeah. I thought Matt in the chat, great point. The NBA is won by stars. I love RJ, but if you can flip him for a star, you do it. Sums it up.
Yes, Matt, 100% right. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Hit that thumbs up icon, Peter. We appreciate the super chat, my man. Thank you for always showing love and being a real one. Will also says you don't win a ring without a superstar.
That's facts.
There's been one team in the last...
Since 1980, pretty much.
Since the 1980s. And I think you probably even consider those. The only team since the Chicago Bulls championship run to win a NBA Finals without a superstar is technically the Detroit Pistons. And I would say having a lineup of 5 All-Stars is pretty close to having one superstar. Like, what is R.J. Barrett's ceiling? I don't know. I don't know.
Jaylen Brown type of player. Like, that's his max, but he'll never be the defender he is because he's not the athlete that Jaylen Brown is.
Ridiculous. We got a live Q&A coming up in about an hour or so. We're going to answer everybody's questions. If you want to be featured on the mailbag, use hashtag Knicks down in the comment section. You could tell me I'm dumb for wanting to trade RJ. You could ask a question. You could talk about a trade target. Or you could just give me a take and want me to bounce my opinion off that. Just use hashtag Knicks in the comment section. Or if you want to guarantee your spot in the mailbag, super chat and ask a Knicks related question. And Patrick Seatman will include that in the mailbag we have coming up in a little bit after we get through the first 3 segments of the show today. My man Alan Alford with a $5 super chat. Alan, we appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir. He said RJ's contract needed in a big deal for a max contract, so let's quit. That's true. Like, if you're trying to match salary in a long-term, in a trade for a superstar, really good point here, Alan. You need the $25 million from RJ Barrett. Yeah. And you probably need the $18 million for Evan Fournier as well.
Yeah, and plus, Quickley, he's got a player option at the end of this year? Or is it
Say it again?
Does he have a player option at the end of this year? Yeah.
No, this is his last year under contract. So those rookie scale deals are 2 years guaranteed in the first round, then 2 years team option.
I mean, if you could move him as still a piece before you can even sign him, like, that's another benefit of moving off a guy like Quickley over Grimes.
Yeah, Grimes will be cost controlled for 1 more year at a cheap salary. Like, Quickley's going to get minimum 4 years, $80 million. That is minimum.
Like, that's almost like if I were the Knicks, do you try to lock up Grimes this offseason?
I wouldn't mind that at all. I'm sure he's saying, no way. I want to get paid. I want to get paid when my value's at its highest. That's why I almost wish they would have signed Immanuel Quickley last offseason.
Yeah.
But now we're in this predicament now, so it's a little bit different. But we'll see. Hashtag Knicks or Super Chat. We got 275 people watching. Shout out to you guys. Hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get to 150 likes in today's show. And we're going to get rolling as we got trade ideas, for the Knicks. Different players. Well, some similar players. Trade ideas that come from the internet as well as my standpoint. Is that the first segment we're doing? No. We got vet minimum free agent targets, as that is the only thing the Knicks can use to sign players. We got bold predictions, and then we got a mailbag to close out the show. So if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon, and let's get it rolling. Yo, what up, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to go through some veteran minimum free agent targets that the Knicks could sign in NBA free agency to really fill out the back half of that roster. The Knicks are really close to that hard cap, so they don't have that biannual mid-level exception, and they use the full non-taxpayer mid-level exception on Donte DiVincenzo. So if they wanted to maybe sign a backup forward to replace Obi Toppin, they would have to do so by signing a veteran minimum free agent player. So we're going to talk about some guys they could do that. But first, I just want to take a look at the roster. As we know, nothing is going to change in that starting lineup. You got Brunson and Grimes in your backcourt, RJ on the wing, Randall and Mitchell Robinson in the front court. But now you got a backup point guard in Immanuel Quickley. You got a backup 2 guard in Donte DiVincenzo. Josh Hart is going to be your backup small forward, while also getting some minutes at that backup 4. You got Isaiah Roby, and you got the 2 big men, Isaiah Hartenstein and Jericho Sims, backing up Mitchell Robinson. So if you are looking to sign someone, I would say it is that backup power forward spot. I believe a mixture of Josh Hart, RJ Barrett, and a little Jericho Sims can get the job done. But if you want to add anyone on the veteran minimum, it would be either another wing that can put it on the deck and score, or a veteran backup big man to be your backup power forward. So we're going to talk about those guys in a second. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because if the New York Knicks make a move, we are going to make a video. If the Knicks sign anyone, we're making a video and potentially going live on the channel. And also, we are closing in on a huge milestone here on the channel. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that has hit that sub button and helped us get closer and closer to 27,000 subs. My goal is to get there in 2 weeks. So if you love the Knicks and you're looking for videos every day on the blue and orange, hit that sub button right now. The first guy we're going to talk about in today's show is the scoring forward Terrence Ross, who last played with the Phoenix Suns. He was bought out by the Orlando Magic back in the regular season, and now he signed with the Phoenix Suns. Ross, 6'7", 6'8", really athletic guy. Used to be one of the most hyper-athletic players in the rim. He's electric in the fast break. He wasn't all that good last year. 43% from the field, 37% from three, which the splits are fine, but the points per game were down compared to the prior 3 years, 8.3 points per game. But he can knock down the three at a pretty good clip at 37% while he's getting up 4 threes per night. If the Knicks wanted to maybe add a true backup small forward and Terrence Ross and let Josh Hart be more of that backup power forward, and when he goes to the backup four, play Terrence Ross a little bit, or maybe just add another scorer off the bench for maybe when a trade comes to have some depth, I think Terrence Ross could be a player they could look to target. We all know that the Knicks would like or need to really add another backup big man, and JaMychal Green could be someone I think they could look at when it comes to being a backup power forward. Green spent last year with the Golden State Warriors, played in 57 games, gave you 6.4 points per night, gives you a little bit less than 4 rebounds. Solid defender as well. He can switch out on pick and rolls on the perimeter a little bit, can protect the basket, half a block per night, 54% from the field. But what I like the most about JaMychal Green is he can step out and space the floor on the offensive end, shooting 37.8% from deep last year with the Warriors. Green is kind of someone I've always really liked because he is that power forward that's rough and rugged, not afraid to mix it up in the trenches, can attack the basket on the defensive glass, and he's someone, like we said, can play a little pick and pop and be a catch-and-shoot three-point guy from downtown. If the Knicks add anyone as a backup power forward, JaMychal Green would be at the top of my list. What about bringing in a Tom Thibodeau favorite in Taj Gibson? Has Taj Gibson already been signed? Because I would not be shocked if he has been. Gibson spent the last year with the Washington Wizards after the New York Knicks released him prior to the season to create some cap space. Played in 50 games for the Wiz, 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 52% from the field. I think this would almost be more of a locker room type of thing if you bring in a guy like Taj Gibson. We know Tom Thibodeau trusts him. He would be an extension of the coaching staff. I think you would really help out a young player, some young players on this team. Hold Mitchell Robinson a little bit more accountable. Teach him to continue how to be a pro. I think you could have that similar kind of help for a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein, even Jericho Sims. But at the end of the day, the reason I think this can happen is he's a New York legend. He loved playing for the Knicks, and him and Tom Thibodeau have a really, really special relationship, and I think that could land him a veteran minimum deal if he wants to continue his NBA career. A player that I am a big fan of is Trendon Watford, who played for the Portland Trail Blazers last year, and when you look at the raw stats, it's actually pretty impressive what Watford did for them at 6'9", 240 pounds. He'd give you some legit size. He's got good length. Only 22 years old, coming out of LSU. Played in the NBA for 2 years. For Portland last year, he played in 62 games, started 12 of them, got to 19 minutes per night, and he was solid. 7.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He's kind of that small ball 4 kind of feel on the offensive end. He can space a little bit. He shot 39% from 3, but only on 1 3 per night, so I would be curious to see what that 3-point percentage would be if the volume went up there. But I wouldn't mind a guy that can come off the bench, give a little pick and roll option, could be a playmaker for you as well, can attack the glass. Not much of a rim protector, only 0.4 blocks per game in his career, over 110 games. But he's someone that was able to knock down the 3-point shot last year at 39%, albeit the volume wasn't all that high. But look, He started 12 games, played 20 minutes per night, and the Knicks need a backup 4. And at 6'9", 220 pounds, I think Watford could be the most appealing option right now for the New York Knicks. We'll get to the last Knicks veteran minimum free agent target in just a quick second. But first, you guys need to get hooked up with our awesome t-shirts that we got going on right now. We've got a new black Knicks Real One shirt. We also got the OG blue Knicks Real One shirt. And you can get yours today at chatsports.com/realknicks. That link is chatsports.com/realknicks. And if you use the promo code, which is right here, Summer Vibes 20, you're going to get 20% off. So get that shirt, get the gear, rep the brand, be a real one, and save some cheddar while you're at it. Chatsports.com/realknicks. Promo code Summer Vibes 20. The deal will not last forever. The last player we're going to talk about on today's show is Eric Paschall, the big man from he used to play for the Utah Jazz, spent last year with the Minnesota Timberwolves a little bit, but didn't actually get on the court for them, so he didn't register any stats this past year, but I'll say it once and I'll say it another time. The Nova Knicks. I do not have a problem bringing in any former Villanova players, and I think it might make Jalen Brunson a little bit happy if you brought in a guy like Eric Paschall, and I am never going to be mad at making Jalen Brunson happy. When you look at what he's done in his NBA career so far, he's been solid, no doubt about it. Nothing special to his game. He was really good in his rookie season for the Golden State Warriors, but they were one of the worst teams in the NBA, so I'm not going to look too much into his stats there. But in 158 games throughout his NBA career where he logged 19.5 minutes per game on average, the guy's giving you 10 points, 3 rebounds, 50% from the deck, 32% from downtown, and he's getting up 1.8 threes per night. So he definitely can step out and at least keep the defense a little bit honest and require them to at least shift the floor to him a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're looking for a strong inside presence. What is Paschall? 6'7", 250 pounds. Give you a little bit of strength, bruise it up in the middle a little bit. At the end of the day, he's not going to play much, but I wouldn't mind bringing in another former Villanova Wildcat. If you are looking at other NBA free agent targets, these are the top guys left out there. You got Christian Wood, who we talked about on the channel yesterday, and reports are coming out via Mark Stein that no team has offered him more than the veteran minimum. PJ Washington, I believe, will go for more than the vet minimum, so I don't think he will be an option for the New York Knicks. Kelly Oubre, kind of in that same boat as Washington, going to be a little bit too expensive for what the Knicks have to offer right now. Hamidou Diallo, really athletic, springy backcourt guy. Knicks don't need another guard. Darius Bazley, he could play the 4, so maybe he's a player that the Knicks are interested in. Ayo Dosunmu, he's a guard as well, so I don't think the Knicks will be all that interested in him. Maybe we bring back Willie Billy Hernan-Gomez. Knicks don't need a center, so I'm good on that. TJ Warren, he could play that 4, but he's more of a scoring option, so not too interested in him. You got Jalen Noel and Terrence Davis. Look, it's getting into week 3 of NBA free agency. There's not that many talented guys left, and we're looking for vet minimum players. So none of them are going to be too appealing. But I thought this would be a good video as to kind of maybe point you guys into the direction of who the Knicks could be targeting if they do want to add another player to this roster through free agency. We've talked about 15 guys in today's show that maybe the Knicks could look to sign with that vet minimum deal. Is there a guy you want them to sign that's still out there? Give me a name in the comment section now of a player you want the Knicks to sign. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys for taking time out of y'all's busy days to hang out with us here on Knicks Now by Chat Sports. If you want to chop it up some more, I'm always down over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. So send me a DM over there, and let's talk some ball. Woo! Knicks 12 says Bull. Sounds like Bull is going to be a Phoenix Sun.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah. Jay Liv said, of course they're garbage. They're unsigned. Well, I'm sorry if this list wasn't up to your liking, Jay Liv. My man CPJ in the building said, what's good, Marsh? Shout out to my man CPJ, a legend, blessing us in the chat. What's good, Brody? And one edit says, hashtag Knicks, Marsh, I want Andrew Wiggins. What do you think it would cost? Maybe we'll talk about that in the mailbag. There were rumors last summer that the Knicks were interested in Andrew Wiggins, but then he got that massive contract extension. I think Wiggins as a small forward on this team could be pretty good. What are you going to trade to get him, though? Like, are you willing to give up RJ and Quentin Grimes for Andrew Wiggins?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'm doing that. I'm not doing that. Ronald said, Marshall, you're killing me. What am I doing? What am I doing?
Oh, so here, scroll up. He's talking about the Duke and Nova Knicks. That is his dream pipeline scenario.
Duke and Nova Knicks?
Yeah. He says, gonna keep saying it until Marshall talks about it. Duke boys and Nova boys together. Big Ragu, Hart, Brunson, Barrett, and Zion.
Zion. We talked about Zion yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't mind getting players from really good colleges that produce a lot of pro prospects. Who's the best player in the NBA from Duke right now?
From Duke. Kyrie.
Is it Tatum?
Oh, Tatum.
Tatum,
Yeah,
Kyrie.
Yeah.
Like
no bigs.
Bagley wasn't good.
No.
Probably
Tatum. Yeah, definitely Tatum. Tatum's
It's
definitely
Tatum.
the best guy.
It's Tatum. My man Robert Smith in the chat said, what up? What's good, Brody? What up? What up?
Jay Liv said he's moving on his hatred from MJ.
25 years is too long.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I would hate him too if I was a Knicks fan.
Yeah. Ronald said, what's in the cup? I was once taught as a young man, never ask what's in somebody's cup.
Never.
Just know I'm sipping. Just know I'm sipping.
He's sipping.
I'm sipping, Ronald. I'm always sipping. You know the deal. We got a mailbag around the corner. If you want to get your questions in, just comment down below in the comment section using hashtag Knicks. Or if you super chat with a Knicks-related or NBA question, we'll include that in the mailbag as well. That'll be in about 30 minutes or so. Got 2 more segments to get to before we get to that. Shout out to you guys. We appreciate it. 275 people watching, 116 likes. The math ain't mathin'. If you could, hit that thumbs up icon. We would really, really appreciate it. Let's roll. Hit that thumbs up icon. Knicks won today says Wiggins too expensive for our blood. I don't think the Warriors want to move on from him.
No. He's a seamless fit for them. I mean,
Yeah.
guys like Wiggins, especially on championship teams, where it's just like he could go get you 20 on any given night. He could get you 15 fours. He could guard 1 through 4. Like those guys that you can pretty much say, like, give them 5 different assignments for a playoff game. Like Steve Kerr probably goes, we need you to focus on rebounding. He can do it. Focus on defending. He can do it. Like I feel like he does a lot of things for them.
We want him. They ain't trading him. Is Paschall a good catch and shoot and defender? I would say Paschall's a good defender. I'm not going to give him the credit of saying he's a good catch and shoot guy, though.
No.
He can hit it. He can hit it.
His size defensively, I mean, that helps him. We've been saying the Knicks need to add a little more beef up top on the front court. Paschall is that. He's
Paschall.
huge, dude. He's 250.
Could you imagine a lineup of Paschall, Brunson, Hart, and DiVincenzo?
Oh, God. That team, the ball movement, the ball would be popping. Oh, I'm all in on Paschall coming to New York.
You like that one?
I'm all in on it. That would be my dream.
Paschall or Taj? Get them both. Get them both.
Yeah.
We need some veteran. We need someone to walk into a huddle and be like, listen the fuck up.
Yeah.
And that's Taj Gibson.
And that was D Rose last year. Like,
yeah.
maybe no, D Rose is more.
He wasn't vocal enough.
He was more of that old head where he's sitting back, be like,
you
hey.
come to him in the locker room, it'll get you right. I need someone when fucking Julius Randle's on his shit to say, hey, listen up.
Well, that's Brunson. That's his next development.
Can Brunson get there?
God, could you imagine? How old is Brunson right now? 28?
26.
26.
He's 26.
Could you imagine him at age 30 when he's got that like veteran kind of prowess walking around? He's just
yeah.
He's like, I've gotten so many buckets in my days. Like, I can't wait for old school prime. Like when he's still in his prime, like the
like
LeBron
31-year-old Brunson.
Oh, that dude's he is gonna be so good, so good.
He is.
God, Brunson's still got damn near 8 years left of his prime.
10. He's going till 36.
I don't know, man. Hopefully. Maybe those undersized guards, maybe he could change
Shit,
his
Chris
narrative.
Paul's still doing it.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, honestly.
He's too crafty, bro.
He might be able to
I mean, he's only good because he's a smart player taking advantage of other dumb teams.
Iguodala. ridiculous.
Yeah, if you want to listen to, you know how on The Breakfast Club they do Donkey of the Day?
Yeah.
I've almost wanted to start doing that.
Yeah?
Not Donkey of the Day, but like a very similar.
Cold take of the day.
Yeah, like
whatever, yeah.
Dipshit of the Day or something like that. Dummy of the Day. I think that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
And it's definitely Andre Iguodala. Iguodala is the donkey of the day yesterday. He said Mikal Bridges is better than Brunson. And I'm okay with that take. I don't agree with it. I don't think Mikal Bridges is better than Jalen Brunson. But the reasoning he gave was so dumb. He said Jalen Brunson is good, but he's a high basketball IQ player playing in a league with a lot of low IQ players. But did he not remember that Seeps Brunson averaged 31 points per game on 50+% from the field against the most well-coached team in the NBA?
Yep. It's
Nobody
not like the Heat
gave
have any dummies.
Nobody gave the Heat more problems than Brunson did in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I know Jokic was great, but like that's just Jokic. Like, you're not stopping him.
They literally couldn't stop a 6-foot guard. Like, that's what's so
The man had almost 100 points per game, 100 points in back-to-back closeouts.
If Randall shot 45%,
45? Give me 40.
Yeah, 40. Like,
the man made more shots in a playoff game than the rest of his team combined.
yeah.
How is that possible?
So, Paschall or Taj, who are you taking right now? I think I'm still leaning Taj because
I think I am leaning Taj.
I think I like what you said about, like, you got to, because besides that.
And another extension of the coaching staff.
Because also, I don't want Randall being like, I'm the vet here.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want Randall being our vet.
No.
We need a vet. Get Taj Gibson in the building.
Who would have thought? We're pounding the table July 11th. Taj Gibson.
I'm serious, though.
I know.
I'm serious. We need a vet. With no more D Rose, we need a vet.
And plus, because Tibbs could call in Taj, be like, hey, you got to
get him right.
Do this. Yeah. And he'll have that. They'll have him going.
Yeah, CPJ. It's Jalen Brunson is the best player in New York.
It's not close.
I think he's a top 5 point guard in the NBA. I got him at 5.
Yeah.
Just my take.
5.
Just my take.
Who'd you rather have right now, him or Ja? Like, probably Brunson.
Did Timps have Lillard ahead of him?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
I got Brunson over Lillard. It's just my take. I know I'm in the minority there.
Hey, we were in the minority when we said Brunson was better than Mitchell.
Where was it again? I think I quote tweeted it.
It's pretty cool that Timp was quote tweeting
Knicks
Muse.
Yeah,
Knicks Muse. Yeah, no, so he still had Dame over there.
Oh, I just responded. I said I knew you knew ball. Dame?
I mean,
I can get behind Dame. 32 points per game.
We have to give Dame the nod. But man, who says like Brunson doesn't go average 27 next year, get the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals? Like, conversations are going to start.
Yes, they are. We got 300 people watching. We got a live mailbag coming up in a second. Carl's just typing SGA in the chat for some reason.
Carl.
What are you doing? Why are you always Carl, bro, don't make me do this, dog.
Carl.
I already made my man internet famous to his homies. I can't do it again. Shout out to Carl. All righty. We got trade ideas in today's show. Something we like to do on the show is, well, it's my job to talk about the latest news and rumors. So if you're crying about us talking about rumors, just go find another channel. But I'll tell you this much. I check out everybody's content on YouTube that posts about the Knicks. Seeps. You know what's wild? They all talk about rumors.
That's the NBA for you.
That's the NBA. So in today's show, we always talk about rumors, but we're actually going to go through some trade ideas.
Oh, yeah.
I went on a deep dive in the internet. I found some trade ideas out there that some other publications put out for the Knicks. I will tell you if I accept or decline. And then I have two trade ideas that come from myself and 3 that come from others.
3 that come from you.
3 that come from me, 2 from others. And they're not. I didn't come up with the ideas to say that I would accept them. I thought that they would be good talking point trades.
Like that trade could happen, you would not be shocked.
Yeah, exactly. All righty, let's get into it. 5 trade ideas the Knicks could make prior to the season. Are the New York Knicks going to make a trade before the season gets rolling? Sure does seem like they are gearing for that. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We talk about trade rumors all the time on this channel because that's what I get paid to do. I get paid to talk about the latest news and rumors surrounding the Knicks. But in today's video, I went on a deep dive into the internet and I found a couple trade ideas that other publications put out there for the Knicks. And then inside the Chat Sports studios, we came up with 3 trade ideas. And I'm going to tell you if I'm going to accept or decline those trades. First, though, let's look at what we got in our own backyard. We know the Knicks starting 5 is going to be what it is with Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Robinson, and Randall. You still got Quickley as your backup point guard. You got Dante DiVincenzo, who's going to be your 2-3 backup. Hart's going to be your 3-4 backup. And then you got Hartenstein and Sims as your big man backup. But I want to think about it like this. Is there a world where Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Quickley, DiVincenzo, and Hart all get the minutes that they need or deserve? And I don't know if that's actually possible. You have a 9-man rotation right now, but either way, we're going to be looking like if this is the team the Knicks are rolling with in the upcoming season, there's going to be nights where we're going to be like, Grimes needed more minutes, Barrett needed more minutes, Quickley needed more minutes, DiVincenzo or Hart. And who's going to be a part of that starting lineup? It's never a problem having too many good players, but I truly do believe the Knicks are prepping for a trade, and a big trade at that. And they have been working towards this moment for far too long. Since Leon Rose has come into office, they have been building for a trade. And the reason I do believe that is all the first-round picks that they have acquired, but also the addition of DiVincenzo. Well, I think it makes the Knicks a better team, no doubt about it. I don't know if it swings the needle for the Knicks to be a championship contender, but it gives you insurance, right? It gives you a guy off the bench that you're going to have for a while. And then for that reason, I do think that the Knicks could be making a trade because you got DiVincenzo. He could replace Quentin Grimes. I'd be mad if it happened, but it could. These are the 4 first-round picks the Knicks have in this upcoming draft in 2024. A top 10 protected pick for the Mavs, 18 protected for the Pistons, 12 from the Wizards, and they have their own first-round pick. You saw the first-round picks just a second ago that they have in totality and how many that they could move on from. Why do I think a trade is coming? Because the time is now. The Knicks window to really build up this roster, to compete and make a lot of moves is now. And why is that? Because Jalen Brunson is on the best value contract in the NBA. And you could do 2 things when your GM gets something really right. We'll give Leon Rose a little butt tap for getting Jalen Brunson on a really cheap deal. But if you don't do anything with it, if you don't make another move and take advantage of having a top 7 point guard in the NBA on the best value deal, what does it really matter? It's almost like when you draft a rookie quarterback, like Patrick Seaman said. You have him on that cost-controlled rookie scale deal, and you see these teams go all in around that deal. It's now time for the Knicks, as they have their quarterback in Jalen Brunson on 2 years, $51 million over 2 years. That's getting paid $25.5 million over the next 2 years. The time is now to make a trade for a superstar. We'll talk about some trade ideas in a second. But first, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I told you all about our July subscriber battle here on the channel a couple of days ago. We were in 3rd place, but we jumped up ahead 76ers now, which is awesome because they are Philly scum. But we're still losing to frickin' producer Roley in the Miami Heat report. And that is upsetting. So if you love the Knicks and you just want to be better than the Miami Heat, which, not going to lie, after the L they gave us in the playoffs, I want to beat them at everything. Hit that big red sub button and help us catch Nick Roloff in the Miami Heat report. I do believe the Knicks are still in the Paul George business. I know Alan Hahn said they are out of the Paul George business. I do not believe that. I believe that they are still going to be in that business. Why? It just makes a lot of sense. But this was the trade idea that I came up with when we were talking in the studios about some potential trades. The most I'm willing to offer for Paul George is this. RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier. I'll give you 3 protected first-round picks. No unprotected first-round picks. I'll give you 3 protected. I'll give you that Detroit pick, which is top 18 protected. I'll give you the Washington pick, which is top 12 protected. And I will still give you the Milwaukee pick. What does this do? It allows you to have control over all of your own first-round picks, which means the Knicks could still make another move and still build through the NBA draft if they want to. RJ, Fournier, 3 protected for Paul George. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I am absolutely making that deal. And the reason is because I think this lineup right here, where you have Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, Paul George, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, I really do believe that this is a starting five that could honestly win the East. And I believe a healthy Paul George in that starting lineup makes the Knicks finals contenders. And that's what we want to be. We want to be contending to be one of the best teams in the NBA while Jalen Brunson is on a cheap contract for the next 2 years. And why do I think that a healthy Paul George makes the Knicks finals contenders? It's because he's one of the best small forwards in the NBA, averaging 23.8 points per game last year, 6.1 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 45% from the deck and 37% from downtown. What Paul George does well is exactly what the New York Knicks need at that small forward position. He would fit in perfectly, like the key to your house, a seamless transition. He can be good with the ball. He can be good off the ball. He can play make. He can be a secondary playmaker to Jalen Brunson. And I understand the concerns. Injuries, 33 years old. And you may say the contract. Well, I'll say on the contrary, the contract is perfect for the New York Knicks. Why? Because if it doesn't work, you're out of the deal in 2 years. It is expected that he wants a contract extension, which I'm not too mad at for wanting to pay Paul George a longer-term deal. I understand the age, I understand the injuries, but his contract right now matches up with Jalen Brunson and his contract. More reason I think Paul George would be great is because when you look past just the points per game and the shooting percentages, he is so elite when it comes to advanced metrics. His catch and shoot three-point percentage, 38.4% in the NBA. One of the best there is on the volume he has. He's also a guy that can create his own shot from deep. A pull-up three-point percentage of 36%. RJ Barrett shot 31% from three. Less than 10 feet from the basket, the dude is elite, 62%. What about the defensive side of the court? Deflections per game, 3.5, the fourth most in the NBA. And then when you talk about steals, 1.5, tied for ninth. So he's an elite catch-and-shoot player. He can create his own shot from outside. He's elite when attacking the basket, and he's one of the best defensive wings in the NBA. Let's compare those to RJ Barrett, because you might say right now, how much of an upgrade is Paul George to RJ Barrett? I know a lot of people like to give me crap for saying RJ Barrett's the guy I always want to trade. Well, the Knicks offered RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell, and they were in trade talks with the Clippers for RJ Barrett. So maybe it's not just me that wants to trade him. Catch and shoot three-point percentage, 32%, one of the worst in the NBA on the volume he has. Pull-up three-point percentage, 19.6. Less than 10 feet from the basket, an uptick from last year, but still 10 percentage points less than Paul George. And remember, Paul George averaged 3.5 deflections per game. RJ Barrett's is 0.8. Paul George averaged 1.5 steals per game. RJ Barrett's is 0.4. I don't want to shit on RJ Barrett, but I do believe if the Knicks are serious about wanting to win a title soon, RJ Barrett for Paul George makes them on an avenue to make that more possible. So I'll ask you, should the Knicks trade RJ Barrett for Paul George? What do you think? I think they should. I know the idea is a little bit worrisome with the injuries for Paul George. I'm willing to roll that dice. I really, really am. Type T for trade, type P for pass. Should the Knicks trade RJ Barrett for Paul George? Trade idea number 2 that we talked about in the studio today is there's been a lot of talk about Karl-Anthony Towns for Julius Randle and Karl-Anthony Towns to the Knicks. And this is an idea that I thought could make some sense. The Knicks get Karl-Anthony Towns, they get their backup power forward in Kyle Anderson, and you give up Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, and one protected first-round pick from Washington. I'm not doing this deal, to be honest with you. I would not be shocked if this deal did go down. I do think, though, if the Knicks were going to make a trade for Karl-Anthony Towns, it would have already happened. But I understand from some fans' point of view that we should move off of Julius Randle and get a center or a power forward that can stretch the floor, as Karl-Anthony Towns can do. But I honestly believe that Julius Randle, and I know I'm not a big Julius Randle fan. If you watch this show, you know that. I think Randall is better than Karl-Anthony Towns. I really do. I understand that Towns' game is probably a more seamless fit for the playoffs, but I'm going to give Randall one more year in the playoffs before I totally axe him out of this equation. When you look at what they did in 2022, Randall was better than him in almost every single metric, especially points per game and rebounds. Field goal percentage a little bit in the area to Towns. 3-point percentage right about the same. Both going to give you 4+ assists. You get more size with Towns, but I believe Randall is a tougher player, a stronger player, and not mentally weak, kind of like Karl-Anthony Towns maybe at this point. Another reason I don't want Karl-Anthony Towns on this team is because of how much money he makes. Julius Randle makes less than $30 million for 2 more seasons. I don't want to be paying Karl-Anthony Towns $50 million in 2024, or $54 million in 2025, or $58 million in 2026. And I absolutely do not want to pay him $62 million in 2027. I'll ask you, though, because I know there's some people that think Karl-Anthony Towns is better than Randall, and you're not wrong. It's just not what I would think. So I'll ask you, who is the better player right now? Is it Julius Randle? Is it Karl-Anthony Towns? Type JR for Julius Randle. Type Cat. Who is the better player right now in their NBA career? This trade idea comes from NBA Analysis, which always puts out interesting trade ideas. And in this one, they had DeMar DeRozan going from the Chicago Bulls to the New York Knicks, and the Knicks giving up Immanuel Quickley, Evan Fournier, Isaiah Hartenstein, and a first-round pick. I also would decline this deal. I've warmed up to the idea of DeMar DeRozan being a player that would actually fit a little bit with the Knicks because he could be your secondary ball handler with that bench unit. He's someone that can get to his spot, rise up, and get a bucket whenever you need it. I believe that mid-range game is always going to translate to the playoffs. I just worry a little bit about the lack of a three-point shot that he has and just the unwillingness that he has to take it because he is so dominant in that mid-range game. I mean, look, there's not a lot of people on this earth that average 25 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on 50%. The thing that's holding me up, though, with DeMar the most is he's going to be 34 years old when the season starts, and I wouldn't call DeRozan an elite perimeter defender. Not saying he's a bad defender. I would say he's average, maybe a little bit above average, but he can't sit in a chair like Paul George and lock someone out and take him out of the game, whereas I think that would be a bigger need for him. But the main reason I'm declining that trade for the Bulls is Immanuel Quickley. And it's Immanuel Quickley, and I can't give up Quickley and a first-round pick. I think it's either Quickley and no picks or Fournier, Hartenstein, and I'll give you 2 picks. But I can't give you Quickley and picks. For that reason, I am out on this trade idea from NBA Analysis. NBA Analysis trade idea number 2. I've seen this one go around Knicks Twitter quite some time. Bojan Bogdanović is one of the best scorers in the NBA, no doubt about it. And we all know good and well about good old Mr. Alec Burks. But am I willing to get those 2 vets at the price of RJ Barrett and a 2024 first-round pick? No, I'm not doing that. Where are these guys going to get minutes? We already have a logjam of minutes at the forward and guard spot, and you want to add another guard and another forward with only subtracting 1 player? I just wouldn't do it at this point. I can't give up a 23-year-old RJ and a first-round pick. Despite how good of an offensive player Bojan Bogdanović is. Like, he is a professional scorer. That's what I like to call him because all he does is get freaking buckets. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 48% from the deck, and 41% from downtown. I wanted the Knicks to trade for Bogdanović at the trade deadline last year. I would have done Obi in a first and let him be your big, your power forward off the bench, the scorer. But I just can't do RJ Barrett in a first. And I love Alec Burks. I just don't like him playing the point guard position. And I think it'd be a good fit. I think the Knicks could use a wing that could put it on the deck. It's just not worth RJ Barrett in a first for me, no matter how good of three-point shooters those guys are. And that's what the Knicks need, another shooter. But I can't give up a 23-year-old player and a first-round pick for 2 guys that are into their 30s and don't have the best days ahead of them. Another trade idea that I cooked up in today's video, kind of just reading the tea leaves out there. The Knicks want to move on from Evan Fournier, but they don't want to do it in a deal where they have to add a bunch of assets. So what about you get a player very similar to Evan Fournier that I think would actually have minutes here for him, could play that backup small forward. You could have Josh Hart and Doug McDermott as your backup 3 and 4 in the game at the same time. And you could add 2 second-round picks to Fournier to get him. They're both on expiring deals. But I'm also declining this deal. I know I've declined 3 deals in today's show, but that's just what I'm doing as I'm in this chair right now. I don't want to add assets to a guy that I don't know how much burn he's going to get here. There's no doubt McDermott can light it up from 3, and the Knicks could use another guy from 3, no doubt about it. 10 points, 1.4 assists, 45% from the deck, and 41% from 3. The year before that, 42% from 3. The year before that, 38% from 3. And the year before that, 43% from 3. There's no doubt Doug McDermott is an elite three-point shooter. But if the only part going out in that trade for the Knicks is Evan Fournier, who doesn't play minutes, where are McDermott's minutes going to come from? Is he playing above Josh Hart at the 3? Is he sliding in for 10 minutes a game at the 3 spot? I don't hate it. But I just don't want to add 2 second-round picks to go get Doug McDermott. That would essentially mean you traded Obi Toppin and Evan Fournier for Doug McDermott, and I just don't think that's the best asset management in this position. We've gone through 5 trades in today's show. We'll do it one more time, and then I'll ask you what trade is the best. Is it trade 1, where we did this trade, where the Knicks get Paul George? They give up 3 protected first-round picks and Barrett for Paul George. If this is your favorite trade, type 1. If you want to bring Karl-Anthony Towns, Sir Purr, to New York, is it this trade? Do you want to just move off of Randall? Give up Randall, Fournier, and a protected first for 2 really good players, honestly. Towns is good, and Anderson, I think, would be good in the Tom Thibodeau system. Is this your favorite trade? Type 2. If this is your favorite trade where you want DeMar DeRozan, I want you to type 3, where the Knicks give up Quickley, Hartenstein, and a first-round pick, type 3. Or if you think the Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks trade is the best, I want you to type 4. Or if you think the Doug McDermott trade is the best, I want you to type 5 in the comment section. The trade I think is the best and most likely is Paul George. I know we've talked about him a lot on this show. It just makes so much sense, right? CAA client, elite three-point shooter, offensive creator for himself and others, and one of the best defensive players in the NBA at that wing spot. That's the guy I'm going after. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Knicks Now. If you want to yell at me because my trade ideas were stupid, you could do so over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_.
RJ averaging 0.8 deflections a game is the worst stat I think I've seen from him. That's a joke. Like, that is
0.8 points, dude.
I gotta throw it back up again. This is embarrassing.
These are really bad stats for him.
Dude, very bad.
Those are really bad.
0.8 deflections. That's just getting just one hand on a ball. Like, one hand on a ball.
Sometimes not even getting one hand on a ball.
God, that's bad. That's so bad. Like, that's so bad. Like, you're huge. You're 6'7". Like,
what about his catch and shoot being a 32% from 3?
His pull-up game being at 19. I know we bash on the guy a lot, but jeez, man. Bring it defensively. Like,
Paul George shoots better on pull-up threes than RJ Barrett does on catch and shoot.
By a margin.
Like, you might say, I know Rich Rob's in the chat going off, standing up for young RJ. If you are trying to win a championship, you trade RJ Barrett for Paul George.
Easily.
Like, I don't really think it's close. Like, Paul George might be the best wing defender in the league.
Yeah.
At 6'9". And he's also shooting 36% on pull-up threes. He's shooting almost 40% on catch-and-shoot threes. He's not only getting you steals and deflections, he's locking up. And when he attacks the basket, he's converting on a 10% higher clip than RJ Barrett. Everyone's going to tell me RJ's great at getting to the basket. He's great at getting there, no doubt. But he has to be better at finishing.
53% is nothing to write home about right now.
It's not.
So I did these numbers for DeMar earlier today. DeMar was at 64.2. Like, And that's DeMar DeRozan. You don't even view him as a slasher, really. Like, I don't know. The 0.8 deflections is what really bothered me. Like, that's so bad. So, like, in high school, at my high school where I played, deflections was, like, the stat my coach loved. And, like, he kind of changed my tune on it because it makes sense. Like, it disrupts an offensive possession. Like, even if it's still a deflection and pass goes through and it's not a steal, the offense still needs to readjust. That being at 0.8 for an entire NBA game.
This man averages 1.2 steals and deflections per game.
Dude, I'm shocked Tibbs play. I see why Tibbs benches him now. Like,
think about it like this. I know there's some people saying I can't trade R.J. Barrett. How many games does R.J. Barrett close this year if this is the team the Knicks have? I don't want R.J. Barrett on the floor over Quentin Grimes, Immanuel Quickley, Josh Hart, or Dante DiVincenzo.
At the end of the game, hell no.
Exactly. So, like, if he's not even finishing games.
And people are going to, watch this. People are going to be like, oh, do you think those guys are better than R.J. Barrett? No. But at the end of the games.
Three-point shooting and defense.
And plus, offensively, you want your guys that, like, besides, like, your stars that control the ball. Like, Brunson and Randall will have the ball in their hands 90% of those possessions at the end of games. What are the role players doing? They're catching a catch-and-shoot three with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. I'll tell you what, I don't want that catch-and-shoot three-point percentage to be at 32.3, or I want my role players being defenders. Like, it's just, dude, is he the worst role player in the NBA? Like,
yes.
Like, honestly, like, in terms of doing a role, 3 and D. Yeah.
Like, look at these stats.
It's so bad.
And then look at Paul George's stats. And I understand they're not in the same stratosphere. But if you've ever uttered the words, how much of an upgrade is Paul George compared to R.J. Barrett, I hope your thoughts have been settled right here.
Yeah.
This man averages 5 steals and deflections per game.
That's awesome.
That's 5 stops a game.
That's awesome.
Not even, and that doesn't account for contests. That doesn't account for, like, just playing good defense.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the only thing with PG and
Ralph makes a good point.
Yeah, this is it. Like, where does his defense fall off? Like, what season is it just like, oh, shit, PG and Kawhi, they might not be the same defenders as they were back in the day?
Is he ever a bad defender?
No, because of his size and his savvy. Like
at worst, he goes from top 5 to top 30? Like, one of the best still?
Like, he'll still be, like, listen, Marsh, I'm sorry. I can't get over the deflection stat with RJ. Like, I can't.
Dude,
like, you're
when I saw that, I was freaking blown away.
Dude, that's just like, you naturally, I feel like, get at least 1 deflection a game at that size. Like,
just put an arm up. Ralph.
3.5, though, for Paul George. That's
elite stuff right there.
That is elite stuff.
Ralph, I agree that he is 33 and injury prone. The fact that you say he doesn't fit the age timeline, though.
The timeline's now.
The timeline is now, and that was the whole point of that segment.
Yeah.
You have 2 years on cheap Brunson. It's time to take a risk.
Yeah.
Like
Paul George isn't going to be on the team in 3-4 years if you trade for him, most likely.
And if he is, that means he's probably won you a ring.
Yeah. There it is. Hulo Caesar, Julo, Hulo, whatever you say it. PG's worst day defensively isn't RJ's best.
Oh, no.
I mean, we said it. RJ just looks slow laterally. Like, he doesn't move his feet too well.
Carl says, why not go for OG?
I'd rather just have since the Knicks are playing in the playoffs, I'd rather have that dude who's been there.
Because you know why? Because I think Paul George makes the Knicks finals contenders, whereas I think OG Anunoby makes the Knicks conference finals contenders.
Yeah. Honestly, the timeline's now.
It is now. You have Randall on a cheap deal. You have Brunson on a cheap deal. You have Immanuel Quickley on his rookie deal. You have Quentin Grimes on his rookie deal. That's not going to last forever.
Kevin saying, Tibbs system, my guy, defenses, team concepts. Yeah, it is a lot of team concepts in the NBA, but when you have a guy like RJ who can't move his feet well, like, I'm sure Tibbs needs to almost hide him a couple of times. Like, when is RJ, like, listen, if you're going to be the 3rd or 4th best player on a championship team, you either got to be, like, a Michael Porter Jr. Like, that's why we look at, like, that's why I think the Nuggets roster is perfectly constructed, because those 3-4 options and Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., they do specific things very, very, very well. Like Aaron Gordon, he gets a mismatch, he's putting his butt on the block, and he's finishing that tiny guard, like obviously, and then it helps with Jokic over the top. But they're also big dudes who, I would love to know what Michael Porter Jr. averaged deflections per game this year. Like, it's probably up there. Then a $2 super chat coming in from Ralph.
I was looking for it real quick. Ralph says PG has to play to win us a ring. Jamal Murray had to play for them to win a ring.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. had to play. Aren't they two pretty injury-prone players?
Chris Middleton had to play for the Bucks.
Everyone has to play.
Yeah. When was the last, when have you seen an NBA champion that had?
Would I rather have traded for Paul George and he missed a playoff game, or I kept RJ Barrett and he was a no-show in Game 6 against Miami? I would have rather traded for Paul George.
Because you took that risk.
You took the risk.
Listen,
you put yourself in a better situation.
You're going to have to take a risk if you want to get over that championship hump.
Because if you think we're just going to roll with RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle as our big three, we will never win a championship.
You're not.
You will never win a championship.
Unless you're getting...
And I'm not saying it's Paul George at all costs. I'm just saying he seems like the most logical outcome right now.
Yeah, and plus,
this is nothing.
This is...
You know what this is?
What are you giving up?
This is, you gave up RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, and last year's number 11 pick. Because that number 11 pick turned into these picks. I would absolutely last year have traded RJ Barrett, number 11, and Evan Fournier for him.
Dude,
Thing is, I don't even think this is enough.
And also, secondary ball handling. Paul George, underrated handle.
He damn near plays point guard for the Clippers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm all in on Paul George. I think in terms of trade targets, he is the best fit.
I understand the injuries. I understand he's 33 years old. Who's to say he can't play until he's 37 on an elite clip?
Yeah. And it only takes 1 year of him being healthy for a 2-month playoff run.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fab says get the Greek Freaker and Embiid. They're not available. I've talked about them, but they're not available.
That's you're giving up everything you own.
Yeah, I would take Giannis and Embiid over him.
No real argument there.
Yeah, no rebuttal from me. Sherwin says, what if we trade for Brandon Ingram? Are the Pelicans moving Brandon Ingram?
Probably not.
Brandon Ingram, just like Paul George, has injury issues.
I bet you.
And he's not even close to the defender Paul George is.
And with the recent kind of Zion drama, I feel like they're building around Ingram. Ingram's their cornerstone now.
I think Paul George's missed games are also a little bit inflated because he's been on the Clippers.
Yeah?
They are big load management guys.
See, that's where Tibbs would probably need to adjust his philosophy a little bit. But then, I don't know. I'm all in on Paul George. If this is the trade and you say no to this, you're drunk. I think this would put the Knicks...
The chance to get a healthy Paul George is worth the risk of maybe RJ Barrett even getting close to this level one day. But you're taking more of a risk of him getting that level than Paul George being healthy, if that makes sense.
Okay, but even we're saying we want to take advantage of Jalen Brunson's contract, RJ's not turning into that over the next 2 seasons.
No.
RJ turns into that, you're paying RJ more, you're paying Brunson more. Dude, almost. When we're talking this kind of out, we're kind of going through this. The Knicks need to move RJ. They need to. Understand Yeah, everybody knows PG's got one of the tightest handles in the league.
He's pretty much a point guard.
Yeah.
I honestly think him and Brunson would be perfect.
Perfect together.
And I think he could play off of Randall. I think Randall would go be that third option there.
But even regular season nights, I think PG's more than okay being because Randall obviously is more of hustle buckets. That's kind of more his game. Just kind of being Randall, I can go because I think PG would be fine scoring 18 a night sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially that stage of his career. He's I got a point guard that'll get me great looks in JB. Kind of play that second, third fiddle. Even at the end of games, you can throw him the ball. Everybody flatten out, and it's an island, and he can go get a bucket.
Yeah. Imagine a pick and pop with Brunson and PG.
Jump one of them. The other one's getting a good look.
And they're making the right pass. All righty, we'll wrap up that segment. We do have bold predictions. They're not going to like this one. If y'all didn't like that one, you're not going to like this one.
Speaking of the devil.
Oh, man. All righty. Bold predictions coming up. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. Still 275 people watching, man. That's awesome. Shout out to you guys. Rich Rob said I looked at the picks again, and that didn't hurt that bad. You think I'd lead you astray?
Come on, Rich.
You think I'd lead you amok?
We've been telling you all this since last summer. You got to start believing in us.
There's a reason I made that trade with 3 protected. I don't even think that's enough for Paul George, sadly. I think he might have to add another kid.
I'd be even fine if you gave him your pick for next season.
Yeah, I would.
Take out the 2 protected, just give them yours. Who cares? You're getting Paul.
Rich says George. Y'all be scaring me at times. Rich.
You got to trust us.
Rich. What did I tell everyone about Brunson and Hard and whatever?
We're going to be right about DiVincenzo in a couple months. Like,
One day y'all will listen. Gonna try it on 2K. Let me know how it works. Rich.
Yeah, hopefully it passes the 2K test.
That's hilarious. Ralph Alexander, $5 super chat. We appreciate you, my man. Says Paul George hasn't played over 70 games since 2019 and hasn't shown he's a number 1 option since his Pacer days. RJ is still young and hasn't hit his prime yet. How do you know he hasn't hit his prime? How do we know for sure he's going to get better?
And what's his ceiling?
Like, I think I would rather take the risk of betting on Paul George being healthy than RJ Barrett ever becoming a number 1.
And it's kind of what we were saying about Brunson's contract. Is RJ's prime the next season? Or the season after? Most likely not.
Look, it's risky. I know it is.
You're going to have to, though.
You got to do it at some point.
Like, okay, if you trade for Paul George, knock on wood, he's abducted by aliens and he's out for the next 2 seasons. You took the chance. Like,
and what about what Rich said right here? Paul George is only 30. He took about 2 years off. He's a young 33.
Yeah. I mean, his knees probably ain't too young, but
I want him to do it. That's my take. That's my take. That is my take right there.
I think Paul George is my number 1 fit now for the Knicks.
I legitimately think if that player 5 we showed him, if your starting 5 is Brunson, Grimes, Paul George, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, I think you're right there with the Celtics and the Bucks.
DiVincenzo and Hart
Still Quickley?
Still Quickley?
Yeah, I didn't have him in the trade.
Honestly, dude, if I were the Knicks, I'd get aggressive.
Go get Paul George.
I'd say we'll give you a couple first and Quickley, and let's go Quickley and RJ. Quickley, RJ, and a first, and let's go do this.
Did we forget he's a CAA member as well?
Yeah, I guess.
CAA Mafia runs deep, fellas. They slay us for. When have the Knicks ever traded for anyone as good as Paul George?
Melo, but like...
Melo? That was a hell of a deal. We've talked about that time and time again on this channel. The Knicks won that deal.
99% of the time when you're getting the best player in the NBA, you're winning the deal. Like, are we really going to be tripping when we see RJ averaging 18 with the Clippers next season? No.
The only reason you can say the Knicks lost that Melo deal is because they didn't make the right moves after that. They didn't include Iman Shumpert in a Kyle Lowry trade. They traded a first for Andrea Bargnani. The Melo trade was a Knicks dub. It was a Knicks dub.
When you see PG in the garden next to Brunson, you're not going to be thinking about Quickley or some draft pick. I'll tell everybody that right now.
Damn sure not RJ Barrett.
You're not going to be tripping over, I miss RJ. Come on, guys.
So would you do RJ Quickley and 2 protected?
I'd do a protected and an unprotected.
You're throwing in Quickley, though?
Dude, I just think you just got to be aggressive. Go force the Clippers' hand right now.
Herman Torres says the RJ delusion is real. Are you saying we're being too mean or people are too high on him?
I think he's talking about people being too high.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it is an older Paul George. But it's also like, if you just imagine a playoff team, like an offense, late in the game, there's 2 minutes left in the Garden, and you could say, all right, PG's got this one, Brunson's good, because that's what it is. Like, it's not really a lot of sets at the end of these NBA games. It's a lot of throw a dude a ball and go get a bucket. And the Knicks only had Brunson to do that. If he is there, Rich, that's the risk. You're gonna have to take a risk. Like the Bucks took a risk when they went and traded a haul for Drew Holiday. I don't know if everybody remembers.
He was super injury prone.
He was injury prone, and people said that was way too much to give up for Drew Holiday. When he was locking up Devin Booker in the finals, I don't think they cared about any picks they gave up.
Look, it is what it is. Everyone's allowed to their opinion. I'll tell you this much. We're talking bold predictions, and we're talking Paul George again. So hopefully you aren't too upset. All righty, let's get into it. Bold predictions. Before we get into today's video, I wanted to start off with a poll question of the... we're going to restart it. That was brutal. Rich is in my head. All right, let's do it. Before we start today's show, I wanted to hear from you guys in the comment section. 46.5 wins for the Knicks this year. Type O for over, type U for under. I want to hear from you down in the comment section. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, I've got 5 bold predictions for the Knicks in the upcoming NBA season. Let's get bold. Let's do it. Bold prediction number 1, just call him All-NBA Jalen Brunson. I think in the upcoming year, Jalen Brunson is going to be an All-NBA player. He did not make the NBA All-Star game. He was not an All-NBA player last year. He continues to be discredited by media members in the NBA, and that's going to stop this year after he is an All-NBA selection. When you look at what he did for the Knicks this year, it's truly incredible how actually good this guy was. 24 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 49% from the deck, and 41% from downtown in the regular season. What he was able to do was bring stability and a star level of talent to the New York Knicks. He was also absolutely phenomenal in the playoffs. 3-point percentage wasn't as good as it probably should have been for Brunson, but when you look at what he did in that Miami Heat series, the guy averaged 31 points per game on 50% from the deck and 34% from downtown. That is unheard of stuff from 6-foot guards in the playoffs. But what leads me to believe that he can be one of the best point guards in the NBA is what he was able to do in the final 34 games of the regular season for the New York Knicks. The man averaged 28 points per game, 6 rebounds, 52% from the deck, 46% from 3 on 5 threes per night. That's Steph Curry stuff. That's how special Jalen Brunson was. Think about that again. For almost half the season, the man averaged 28, 6, and 52 and 46% from 3 on elite percentages. I truly believe Jalen Brunson is a top 5 point guard in the NBA right now. I don't know if it can even be debated at this point anymore. When you talk about the best point guards in the NBA, obviously you're going to include Stephen Curry at the top of that list. No doubt about it. You're going to have Luka Doncic up there. You're going to have Damian Lillard up there. You're going to have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I got a weird finger right here. But I believe Jalen Brunson is 5th. I'm taking Brunson over Ja Morant, Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, Halliburton, Drew Holiday, Chris Paul, Darius Garland. I believe Jalen Brunson is a top 5 point guard, and I believe this next season, year 2, in New York, he is going to cement himself as one of the top players in the NBA and be selected to an All-NBA team. We got 4 more bold predictions coming up around the corner, but first, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/KnicksTV. We are getting closer and closer to 27,000 subs on the channel, and I want you guys to be a part of the movement. If you want Knicks videos every day, all day, sometimes multiple times a day, hit that sub button right now. Bold prediction number 2, I think the Knicks are going to trade for Paul George. I just really believe that when you boil it down, the trade just makes too much sense. And it is being reported via Ian Beckley that there are people inside the New York Knicks front office that think that Paul George is the perfect fit in this Knicks starting lineup. And I think it is as well. I mean, you look at what they have. If they were to trade, let's say RJ Barrett picks and maybe someone else, but if this is your starting five of Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, Paul George, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, I think you're one of the best teams in the East, and I think you can contend for an NBA Finals. I understand the baggage with Paul George, right? 33 years old. Doesn't play that much basketball. He played 56 games this year. That's not nothing. He did play in 31 the year before and 54 before that. I wonder how much is due to the load management that the Clippers worry about over there. Could those numbers be a little bit higher? Sure. Am I worried that he had a knee injury going to the playoffs? Sure. But I am willing to take the risk on Paul George and him being healthy over sticking with this same team and that risk, hoping that they can reach the pinnacle of their success. When you look at Paul George's contract, it ain't that bad. $45 million this year, which is just the going rate for a star player in the NBA, and he's got a player option for 2024. The holdup, it sounded like in a deal prior to the NBA draft, was Paul George wanted a contract extension. I would honestly give him that contract extension. Not a max contract, but I would give him a fair deal because he is one of the best players in the NBA. And when you look at the advanced numbers for Paul George, they're pretty freaking good. On catch-and-shoot threes, the guy shot 38% from downtown. On pull-up threes, he shot 36% from three. That's the league average on pull-up threes. He's also one of the best in the league when it comes to getting downhill and getting to the basket. 62% when he's less than 10 feet from the cup. And he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. 3.5 deflections per game, fourth best in the NBA this past year, and 1.5 steals per game, which was tied for ninth in the NBA. He has 5, when you combine deflections and steals, 5 disruptions per game. Elite defender. Creator, playmaker, secondary ball handler, elite shooter. He is 33 and has injury issues, but I am willing to risk it. I think the time is now, as you have to take advantage of that Jalen Brunson contract, which is only going to be cheap for 2 more years. Are the Knicks finals contenders with Paul George? What do you think? Let's do it like this. If Paul George is healthy, are the Knicks finals contenders if they trade for him? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Bold prediction number 3, I'm going with 50-plus wins for the New York Knicks in the 2023-2024 season. That's what I think they can do, and I don't think it's all that unlikely. I mean, the Knicks won 47 games this past year, and Brunson didn't even play in the final 3 games of the season. Julius Randle missed the last 5 games of the year due to an ankle injury, and you won 47 last year, and you got better. I think Donte DiVincenzo makes you a better basketball team than when you had Obi Toppin on it, because I believe what you asked Obi Toppin to do, which was play defense, get out in the fast break, and shoot, catch, and shoot threes, Donte DiVincenzo is better than him at all of those things. And I believe that the Knicks, whether it's with this current team, whether they make a trade, whether they make a big move, 50 wins is something that they should be aiming for in the Eastern Conference this year. We got 2 more bold predictions coming up around the corner. But first, make sure you guys are hooked up with our awesome sponsor, which is hooking us up with these t-shirts. Go to chatsports.com/RealKnicks. Get your Knicks Real One shirt today. We've got this shirt in blue. We've got this shirt in black. And you could save 20% with code SummerVibes20. So go to chatsports.com/RealKnicks. Use the promo code SummerVibes20. Save yourself 20%. Rep the brand. Rep the gear. Be a real one. This one hurt for me to write out, and unfortunately, I just think it's going to be true. I believe 2 of Immanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, or Quentin Grimes are going to be gone this upcoming season. It just feels like a consolidation trade is coming for the Knicks. There's no way that you can give Jalen Brunson, Immanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, Donte DiVincenzo, RJ Barrett, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein. I just don't see a world where all of these guys on this team are going to get the minutes that they need, because who's going to finish games if this is your starting lineup? If this is your team, who's going to finish games? You know Brunson's going to be out there. You know Julius Randle's going to be out there. And you're either going to have Mitchell Robinson or Isaiah Hartenstein out there. So you got a big man, you got Randle, and you got Brunson. Who's going to be the other two guys to close the games? You know he's going to want Josh Hart out there. You know he loves Quentin Grimes. You know he loves Immanuel Quickley. You know RJ Barrett's paid a lot of money. You got 4 people that need to be finishing games to fit into 2 spots. I think a consolidation trade is coming. Unfortunately, I think 2 of RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and Quentin Grimes are going to be the guys going out in that trade. So I'll ask you this question. If you could only pick one of these guys to keep on the roster, as I think 2 of them, unfortunately, are going to be gone, who is the one guy that you want to keep on this team? Type 5 for Immanuel Quickley, type 9 for RJ Barrett, type 6 for Quentin Grimes. I don't know. Convince me of which one they should keep down below in the comment section. Last bold prediction of today's show. Eastern Conference Finals. Here we come. I think the Knicks got better. I think they're going to make another step. And I think if they trade for Paul George and you get an all-NBA season from Jalen Brunson and you're healthy at the right time, I do believe the Knicks can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You could say I'm crazy. They got to the second round this year and we're 2 wins away from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. These are my predictions, my bold ones. I want to hear from you, though, down in the comment section. Give me a bold prediction for the Knicks this year. What do you think is going to happen that if you said it, maybe some people don't agree with you? Because I know everyone's not going to agree with what I have to say. And that's why they're bold predictions. I want to hear from you, though. Give me a bold prediction for the Knicks this year. As always, guys, remember that you can follow me over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm getting closer and closer to 4,000 followers over there, and I want you guys to be a part of my journey as I tweet about the Knicks, Giants, Yankees, NBA, NFL all day, every day. So give me a follow, and I might follow you back if you have a cool bio. What about that? Cool bio, I'll follow you back. I don't know if people were very happy with that segment.
I don't know why they wouldn't be. Will you guys just start listening to Marsh and I? Like, this needs to be like, hey, look at our track record. Look at where we
Until we miss.
Yeah, until we miss. The GOAT did step in the building.
Has Rob Rodriguez a $50 super chat. Shout out to Robert Rodriguez, the GOAT of New York Knicks Now by Chatsport. He said, if the Knicks get Paul George, do you think they will also chase Zion? Keep hearing rumblings of Zion. I don't think that Paul George is going to require you to go all in, which makes me think that they could still have another move up their sleeve.
I don't know if Zion would be that other move.
Yeah.
Just because I think that would be a weird.
You already have one injury-prone player in Paul George. Do I want another one in Zion?
And plus, like, how would that floor fit work? Like, I will say, maybe if you go get Paul George, I think Randle would have to. If you would get Paul George and Zion, you have to move off Randle and RJ.
Yeah. I think Julius would go in that Zion trade.
God, maybe, like, all right, let's just say if you give up for Paul George, you give up RJ and, you go pick heavy. Like, RJ, Fournier, and pick heavy. You bring in Paul George. Then you send Quickley, Randle, and some picks for Zion. And then you're still able to roll out Brunson, Grimes, Zion, PG, and Mitchell Robinson with still DiVincenzo and
Josh Hart and Hartenstein on your bench.
Deuce gets some run as backup PG. Like,
I don't hate it. It
would just take a lot.
I am going to continue to keep my eyes, though, on Zion Williamson. There's just been so much smoke around him and the Knicks since he entered the NBA draft, man. Like, supposedly he wanted to be a Knick. He had to be escorted out of the green room at the NBA draft lottery. He's a CAA client. I don't know. Paul George would be pretty freaking sweet.
I just don't know how you wouldn't want PG on the team.
As my man Rob Rodriguez sent in a $50 super chat. I'm going to do a beer shotgun for my man Rob. Always showing love. I'm getting a little bit thirsty. Shout out to y'all. Woo!
Shout out to Double R.
Double R, always coming through, showing love to the pro. Double R has been huge for the program.
Huge for the program.
Huge for the program.
He's been a needle mover.
He has been a needle mover. All righty. Shout out to Rob Rodriguez. Let's ride.
Let's go. And also, if you guys haven't got your questions in yet, mailbag coming around the corner here. Get those questions in there, and we will answer it. We will answer it.
That was cold.
So you know what blows about this computer the most?
What?
Is questions, they'll just randomly stop pulling. So then you have to toggle it. So you kind of have to make that choice of do I keep these questions or toggle them to get the new ones?
That's tough.
Oh, it's tough.
Hashtag Knicks or Super Chat to be a part of the mailbag. Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. Get your questions in. Let's go. I want to talk some ball with the real ones.
Do you think the Knicks, or not the Knicks, the Clippers, what are the chances they want to move Paul George? Or do you think they can run this piece back?
I mean, they offered a trade to the Knicks with Paul George in it.
At the deadline?
Before the NBA draft. R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, 3 first-round picks, Evan Fournier. They offered the Knicks that. Knicks said no. I'm not... I don't want to give up Grimes.
I know it's a ton, but just slip DiVincenzo into that starting lineup then, or Hart. They got that too.
I would willing to go up to 3 protected and 1 unprotected if I got to do just RJ.
Yeah. God, then you keep Quickley. Why not just RJ and Quickley? RJ Quickley and 1 unprotected. That's a lot, but I'd do it.
You would do that?
Dude. Marsh, it would hurt a little bit, but you're in the conference finals.
Who's your backup point guard?
Figure that out.
You figure that out?
Paul George will be your backup point guard.
I don't hate that.
Stagger the minutes a little more.
I don't want to give up quickly.
I know, I wouldn't either. But then you don't need to worry about paying them. When you see that closing lineup of Brunson, Hart, Grimes, PG, and Randall, that small ball 5, or if Randall's being a fuckboy, you could put in Mitchell Robinson.
So what if your closing lineup is Brunson, Grimes, or DiVincenzo? Yeah, that's still tough. It would have to be Brunson, Paul George, Hart, Randall, and Hartenstein Robinson. I don't hate that.
That's a good lineup, dude.
And if you need more shooting, you could...
Because then you still also have all that draft capital. Maybe it's RJ and Quickley and all the protected picks you have. Give them those 3 protected ones, the Milwaukee one, the Wizards one.
Oh, man. Kevin says, why don't we trade RJ for Theo Pinson? You guys are so soft.
So soft.
Why is it Chat Sports trading RJ Barrett? The Knicks haven't offered him in multiple trades.
It's our fault.
It's our fault. Just people tell me to stop the rumors. What type of power do people think I have to where I can stop rumors?
I don't know, man. You maybe, what do you want us to talk about? Tough speculation. You would do it. You would do Barrett quickly and unprotected. You would do it. It would hurt you. I know, but it's when PG's doing his media day and Brunson and Hart are giggling in the back. It's gonna be dope.
Quickly hurts.
Yeah.
I'm more sad about losing quickly than RJ.
Yeah, but you're getting Paul George. That's a move like that. It's oh, the Knicks are here. We're growing up a little bit.
I don't know if I could do quickly. I'll give you more picks. I can't do quickly.
Yes, you would, dude.
No.
You would actually say no to that. Next year's first. It's going to be in the 25. It's going to be 25th overall if you go get Paul George.
I think Rob Rodriguez is right. RJ is who he is going to be.
How much better is RJ getting? My eyes just don't see the development. Send Grimes with... I don't know if I could do Grimes with RJ.
Because if I keep Paul George, I want Grimes.
Yeah, exactly. You would. Oh my God, defensively, also that closing lineup, like able to go Hart, Grimes, and PG at like the wings, and just you're able to
get Randall out of there.
Yeah, get Randall out of the closing lineup. Oh, dude, you do it. You do. I know it hurt to give up RJ and Quickley, and I know all of you guys in the chat would do it too. I know you guys love your own players, and that's just the natural kind of progression of being a fan. But I promise you.
Ridiculous. We're up to $77 in Super Chats. That Happy Mom tasted pretty good. If we get to 100, I'll do another one. F it. Let's ride.
Let's do it.
If we get to 100, I'm going to do another one. We'll do another one. We're 24 away. Or 23 away. I'm bad at math. 23 away. Every 50 in today's show, we're doing shotguns. F it. Let's ride.
I know you guys would do it because it's one of those trades you get it. It's like, holy shit, we're getting Paul George. And you're like, oh, damn, we're getting rid of, Quickley and RJ. But then it's like, holy fuck, we're getting Paul George. Who cares? Like, the only way it would suck is if it's like worst case scenario, Paul George is out for the year.
And that's never happened.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, all of you guys would do it. I know you would. I know if you had that button, I promise you, and you had the yes and no button, and Leon Rose said, we're going to you, Rich Rob. We're going to you, Fobs48. Would you accept your next year's unprotected 2025 first-round pick, your very own, RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley for Paul George?
It's me says we're so thirsty, we're not even wondering why would the Clippers move on from Paul George with a new arena on deck. Well, because they've offered the Knicks a trade. That's why.
And we just talked about it 10 minutes ago, saying, would the Clippers do it?
Would the Clippers do it? Yeah, they offered the Knicks a trade.
Yeah.
Wait, so would y'all rather do RJ and Grimes or RJ and Quickley in the trade?
I think they would rather do Grimes in the trade. See, yeah, you did good. A lot of teams are good in the NBA, Fabs. A lot of teams are good.
Congrats on a second-round loss.
You lost in 6 to the like.
Rich says the money doesn't work. Yes, it does. RJ and Fournier. You have to do RJ and Fournier. The money works. I did it, bro. I did it.
So could you do RJ, Fournier, and IQ?
Let's see.
And then maybe throw in another little a little salary piece. I'm telling you, you guys will. When Paul George is a Knick, you guys will all be. You guys will be fine. Quickley's dope. Like Quickley's sweet, but he's not Paul George.
So who? RJ, Fournier, and who?
Quickley.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
You have to cut $1.2 million, so you send a little salary filler from the Clippers, which would be, let's go. Can we get Bones Highland back?
Bones?
You don't really know. Do we want Bones?
I was gonna say he probably wouldn't play. They have like a big who's got like $2 million.
Mimoso Diabate.
We'll take him. There's a trade out there.
It works. RJ, Fournier, and Quickley for Paul George and Moussa Diabate.
I'm doing that any day of the week. Hulo, you are putting IQ in that trade. Like you would. Like you all would. I know you guys just like him because he's in a Knick uniform right now, and
I don't love giving up Quickley, and I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I've said yes to that yet.
I think I'm
doing RJ and picks.
And if that gets done, you're there. But I don't think it's the worst case in the world.
OG says, doesn't RJ want an extension? Of course he wants an extension. But he's got 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah.
Like, he can't. He doesn't have a no trade clause.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if the Knicks are willing to trade for him without an extension, they can't say no. What are the Clippers going to do? No, we don't want this package because we care about Paul George, who's no longer on our team.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler, you want a championship? You go trade for a superstar. Immanuel Quickley's not winning you a championship.
My man Trey Miles in the chat.
Trey.
Yeah.
I forgot Trey's the yer.
Rich Rob said it's not about the Knicks uni. It's really all about stockpiling for years, and it goes for PG for a year later. We are hamstrung and our future is gone.
It is now.
How is your future gone? How is your future gone?
It's not. You still have so many. You would give up one pick, keep the remaining 10 that you have over the next 4 seasons.
These guys have been freaking bamboozled.
You got Jalen Brunson on the biggest steal of a contract in the NBA right now. That's what I'm saying. I would be okay being aggressive. Like, say screw it. You know what? Maybe it wouldn't be the best trade in the world if we gave up IQ and RJ. But, man, take advantage. BN is saying F you guys.
At least we'll play and stay healthy. PG is not the player. F you. F you!
Hey, thank God.
F you! Thanks for watching our show, though.
Thank God RJ will play, 75 games a year.
I'll go back and I'll say this. Well, I would rather trade for Paul George and him not play than what I saw from RJ Barrett in Game 6 against the Miami Heat.
Nice.
He was ass. He was cheeks, dude. Yo, love RJ Barrett, bro. He sucks.
Man, when you guys see
RJ sucks.
When you guys hear MSG Game 1, Garden would be on fire with Paul George in that starting lineup. And you hear Jalen Brunson and Paul George get called out, and JB and Josh Hart are doing their dap up and everything, and Paul George is
do we need to show the deflection and steals again?
I think we might have to. We might have some new audience here.
Bro, I've been trying to keep it light. RJ is not a good basketball player. Look at these stats from Paul George.
Yep.
38% on catch and shoot, 36% on pull-ups, 62% from less than 10 feet.
Yep.
4th in the league in deflections, 9th in the league in steals. Remember these numbers. Now look at RJ Barrett's.
Do you guys know what so think about this. A deflection. You are playing defense and you get a sliver of your finger on the basketball. That counts as a deflection. This dude didn't even average 1 per game last season. I didn't know, so I didn't build this graphic when we were heading into the show today. I didn't know this was going to be on my screen. When I pushed this across and you guys saw it at the same time, my jaw dropped. That is so embarrassing for RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett shoots 32% on catch and shoot threes.
Dude.
Paul George shot 36% on pull-up.
Dude.
He can't defend anybody.
He's just slow. Like, he's slow.
If RJ Barrett was drafted at pick 21, but he's giving you the same production, we wouldn't have a problem with trading him.
It's the top 5 armor. Like, dude, RJ, like
19% on pull-up threes.
Dude, like he got benched in certain games in the playoffs.
I honestly think like 19% on pull-up threes, which is the lowest in the NBA. On
you
people
shouldn't
that
be allowed to take another one.
This guy doesn't even average more than 2 steals and deflections per game.
And obviously, injuries are normally a fluky thing, but also Paul George's usage rate and just his overall, I think the energy he's going to have to exert if he's on the Knicks won't nearly be as high as it was in the past couple of years. He'll be able to conserve himself a little bit.
Johnson, you says, don't worry, he's only 22. He's 23 now.
Yeah.
He's 23.
Don't worry. Oh, tripping. All right, Bush Kid.
Keep IQ but get Paul George. Yes, I'm on that camp. Yes.
100% of Knicks fans are on that camp. You're probably going to have to, if you have to do it, it's not, I will be so mad at you guys in March 2. If that trade goes down of IQ and RJ and you guys are like, I can't believe we gave up Immanuel Quickley. I can't believe we gave, like, you just got Paul George. Like, none of you guys are going to be sitting there and be like, I can't believe Leon Rose gave up Immanuel Quickley. You're just not going to do that. I'm telling you, you would take it.
Bush Kid, we appreciate the $5 super chat, my man.
This is hilarious.
I don't want to give up quickly.
I know you don't.
But is Quickley going to be the guy that holds up the trade? I honestly think they'd rather have Grimes.
The Clippers?
Are you doing Grimes?
That's where I get a little weird. I don't know.
So you wouldn't do Grimes and Barrett, but you do Quickley and Barrett.
I would do Grimes and Barrett. I would do Grimes. It would suck, but shit. I mean,
supposedly Jerry West loves.
You do Grimes and Barrett. Give him maybe a protected pick. That probably gets it done. And then your closing lineup could still be Brunson, Hart, Paul George, Randall, Mitchell Robinson. If you want to go small, sub in DiVincenzo for Mitchell Robinson. Then you still have Quickley. Like, if you got to give up two of those three to get frickin' Paul George, you do it. You do it.
That's wild. Johnson, you with a $2 super chat says, "Let's go out and get Cam Reddish."
Let's do it, Johnson.
We had people wanting Cam Reddish more than Paul George.
Yeah. Hey, Johnson, watch out. You might excite Rich Rob a little too much with the super chat.
Rich Rob said it's not about them being as good. I just don't want to sell assets. So if you don't want, who do you want to sell them for?
Who's the answer? What, Marsh? Let's keep it dumb as possible. All right, everybody. What do the Knicks need at the wing position? Shooting and defense. Who is the one player that just puts that Band-Aid over it?
That's available.
And it's fixed like that. It's Paul George.
It is. It is.
Steve, so what do you see about
Cam
Grimes?
Reddish from Johnson.
So I would rather keep Grimes over IQ. Just I think a guy in terms of I think IQ is a way better player than Grimes, way more skilled. But in terms of a player's playing next to other stars, I think Grimes fulfills that role better than Quickley. I think Grimes obviously better off ball, better defender than Quickley. I love Quickley. He brings that energy. He picks dudes up full court. This isn't me about hating Immanuel Quickley as a player. He's a tremendous talent. But I think Grimes, he's got better size than Quickley too. And man, if you could have a closing lineup of Hart, Grimes, and PG at that wing spot, it would cause havoc defensively. And you obviously have two certified bucket getters in Brunson and PG.
That's wild. That's wild.
And he's 33. He's not 45. Everybody needs to calm down.
All righty, let's close out the show with the mailbag. Hashtag Knicks or Super Chat if you want to get your question answered. Let's get to it. We got a mailbag coming up on today's show for all of the real ones. As you're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports, I am your host, Marshall Green. We're taking questions from subscribers. So if you didn't get your question on today's show, that means you are not a subscriber. So change it. Go down right now, hit that big red sub button, and become one of us. One of us. And One Edit's coming in with the first question. Says, Marsh, I want Andrew Wiggins, LOL. What do you think it would cost for us to trade for him? Maybe Randall, Hartenstein, Grimes, and some picks. What do you think? I think if we are trading for Andrew Wiggins, you're going to have to probably give up Quentin Grimes and RJ Barrett, right? I mean, they're going to want something really good of value. And they're probably going to want someone that they could slide into their starting lineup. I bet they'd honestly probably want Quentin Grimes and Immanuel Quickley. I just don't see us trading for Andrew Wiggins at this point, mainly because I don't think that the Golden State Warriors are going to move off of him. He does a lot for them. He's their best perimeter defender. He can score. He can rebound. He was a key piece in their NBA Finals championship. I don't think the Warriors would trade Andrew Wiggins, and if it did, it would take Grimes, RJ, and a lot of picks, in my opinion. My man BX Bang and NY Reppin', what's good, Brody? What will we have to give up if we were to seek out Zion, and do you think he's an upgrade to the team? Yeah, I do think he's an upgrade. I think when he's healthy, he's a better player than Julius Randle. I think his game translates to the playoffs a little bit more. He's a better defensive player. He doesn't need the ball like Julius Randle does to be effective. What do I think it would cost? Immanuel Quickley, Julius Randle, and picks. That would be my guess of what the cost could be for a Zion Williamson trade. You get better at defense, no doubt about it. That would be my idea right there. Appreciate the question. I am Jules says, I need to know, since Klay Thompson is my favorite player, is there any hope that the Knicks can get Klay Thompson in the near or distant future? I think Klay Thompson's a lifer. I think Klay Thompson is going to retire with the Golden State Warriors. Would love to have him. He'd be a great shooting guard to have, right? I don't think it would happen, and I think I think he would almost rather retire than play for another team at this point in his career. My man Rich Rob says, I ran it on 2K. We want a chip. Let's do it. I'm in. LFG, LOL. We were talking about the Knicks doing this trade right here for Paul George. I know some people aren't happy about this, but I believe I would do this trade. I would. I would trade RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, and 3 protected first-round picks for Paul George. I would absolutely do that. I think with Paul George, you become one of the best teams in the NBA. I think you can win the NBA Finals if you do have Paul George, and I think you could be a team that's good for a very long time. The injuries are worrisome, no doubt about it. He's 33 years old, but he's one of the best defenders in the NBA, and he's a catch-and-shoot three-point guy, can create his own shot, can create for the others, and you would have one of the best duos in the NBA with Brunson and Paul George, and one of the best trios of Brunson, Julius Randle, and Paul George. I'll ask you, though, are the Knicks finals contenders with Paul George? What do you think? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to hear from you down in the comments section. Well, man, Jay Liv, what up, Brody? He said they haven't been to the finals since 1999 and haven't had the Larry O'Brien trophy since 1973. You do what you got to do if it makes you a legit contender. You don't win NBA Finals with role players. I'll tell you that much. You win the NBA Finals with superstars. Go all the way back to the Michael Jordan era. There's been one team. That has won an NBA Finals without all-time great, and that's the Detroit Pistons. And they had Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. Unless you're going to have the best put-together team of all time, you're not going to win an NBA Finals. You need elite players, no doubt about it. Johnson, you appreciate the super chat. Says our Summer League roster sucks. Yeah, Summer League has been brutal to watch. That's why I haven't been talking about it too much. Knicks have drafted one player in the last 2 years in Trevor Keels. I respect Daquan Jeffries. There's probably one player on that team that's going to make the Knicks roster, and that's Trevor Keels, and he may even be a G League player at this point. Isaiah Roby has been okay-ish. I don't know if he's going to be the backup for. Some people think so. I don't know about that. Trey Miles, $10 super chat. What's it going to take to get either OG or Paschall from the Raptors? I believe one of these wings is a missing piece to a deeper playoff run. I would think the Raptors would want Immanuel Quickley since they don't really have a young point guard. They signed Dennis Schroeder in NBA free agency, but they have not replaced Fred VanVleet. So I bet they would want Immanuel Quickley. I bet they would want some picks and maybe Quentin Grimes or RJ Barrett. 2 of those young kids and picks. That's what's going to take for the Knicks to make an upgrade trade. That's my opinion, Trey Miles. Shout out to you. Yeah. Kenny Wu, $5 super chat, says, if he trades IQ, we are going to storm Madison Square Garden like they stormed the White House. IQ stays, period. I love Immanuel Quickley. I absolutely do. I don't want to move him. I do not. I think he's a star. I do. I think he's that good. But if you could only pick one of these 2 guys to keep, 3 guys, if you could only pick one of these 3 guys to keep, because I believe if the Knicks are going to make a trade and it's going to be an upgrade, it's going to be for a star, 2 of these 3 guys are on the way out. So pick one of these guys to keep. Is it Immanuel Quickley? Is it RJ Barrett? Is it Quentin Grimes? Type their jersey number down below of the guy that you're rocking with. Yeah, let me know. Ralph Alexander, super chat. Thank you, Ralph. Paul George hasn't played over 70 games since 2019 and hasn't shown he's a number 1 option since his Pacer days. RJ is still young and hasn't hit his prime yet. Yeah. But I would rather take the risk of Paul George being healthy and playing than depending on RJ Barrett to be a superstar in this league. I think with Jalen Brunson's contract, the way it is structured right now, he is going to be worth $25 million per year over the next 2 years, and you have to capitalize on that window right now. Paul George, when he plays, is one of the best in the NBA. Look at the stats right here. He is elite, especially on defense. In comparison, RJ Barrett averages 0.8 deflections per game and 0.4 steals per game. I know it's unfair to compare RJ Barrett to Paul George. I'm just trying to illustrate the picture of how much of an upgrade Paul George would be in the starting lineup. Tyler says, I want Levine. Do I think it still can happen? Yeah, I think it still can happen. I'm not buying into the report that Clutch Sports doesn't want him to go to the Knicks. If the Knicks can get him the most money off the court, have him play in the number one media market in the world, and contend for a championship, why would you not want your client to go to a better situation? And we've heard rumors that Clutch Sports isn't going to be this dominant agency for the long term. We've heard that they may be looking to buy an NBA team with LeBron James once he retires. So I'm not. Yes, I think a Zach LaVine trade could still happen. If I had to talk about the three most players most likely to be traded to the Knicks in the next 6 months, I'm going Paul George, Zach LaVine, and OG Anunoby. Those would be the three guys I think are most likely. Rob Rodriguez, $50 super chat. Shout out to you. He says, if the Knicks get Paul George, do you think they will also chase Zion? Keep hearing rumblings of Zion. I'm going to keep my ear to the ground on the Zion Williamson stuff. CAA client, wanted to be a Knick coming out of the draft. Star player right now. Probably can get him on a discount. Yeah, I think that they could try to chase Zion. Reports are coming out from Chris Haynes. We talked about it earlier in the week on the channel that he could be had for the right price in the right situation. I don't know if I want Paul George and Zion. A lot of injury risk there. But I am definitely under the understanding that the Knicks have their eyes on Zion Williamson. As always, thank you, and I appreciate you guys for rocking and rolling with us here on New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. As always, remember, you can follow me over on Twitter, and we can talk ball over there. Just hit me up right here at this handle, at @MarshallGreen_. Woo! Lemon says, so what's the word when RJ, IQ, and Grimes all have better seasons? I put money at least one of them is significantly better this year. Well, we love Grimes and IQ. Yeah. And we do think they're going to get better.
They should get better.
Are you guys going to forget about the stuff you talked? Dude, what does that even mean?
It's not like if they trade Quickley or RJ and they go average 20 a game somewhere else, like we're going to be tripping over it.
I don't know what that even means, to be honest.
Like, we're believers in them as a player. Like,
except RJ.
Except RJ. But, like, those other two, like, they could both be players on championship teams. No
RJ
doubt.
Becomes an all-star this year, Mr. Lemon? Yeah, I'll say I was wrong. I don't know what more you want me to say. My man Webb said Knicks will have two of these three guys, Spida, Zion, and Bridges in the near future. I would probably go Spida and Bridges more likely. I think Donovan Mitchell's probably going to be a Knick.
I don't even know if I want him.
Trading any of them for a potential 30-game season. Man, people just act like Paul George never plays basketball.
I get it. Like, he's hurt, like, here and there, but
I don't know.
It's a risk. It's risky. You're going to have to take. It's hard to win NBA championships. You're not going to win an NBA championship by sitting back and being like, let's develop IQ and RJ. Like, this is not going to work. It's not. I promise. Like, I'll tell you this. The Knicks have a chance to win the championship next year if you trade for Paul George. You do. Like, you would legit have a chance to win a title. And you would have a legit chance to beat anybody in the Eastern Conference in a 7-game series.
I think you are there. If you trade for Paul George and all it costs is R.J. Barrett and picks, you are just as good as the Bucks or the Celtics.
Yeah, the Bucks are a different wagon, like obviously, but and shit, the Celtics would be scared of you.
Paul George on Giannis, and then you got Mitchell Robinson behind him. That's probably better than any other team in the NBA can do.
Well, and I love Mitch Rob on Giannis.
And Mitch Rob can guard Giannis. We know that.
Say, Mitch Rob, you put your arms up in the lane, you get big. And Mitch Rob did a good job when he matched up against Giannis this year. That was a game he had like 20 rebounds. You think if we trade for PG, can we still trade for Turner like Mitch Rob and 2 firsts? Probably.
I think if they were going to make a trade for Miles Turner, it would have been involved in Obi Toppin.
Yeah.
Maybe the Knicks aren't interested in Miles Turner. There's always been buzz around it.
Yeah, good point, Webb.
All righty. We are going to sign off on today's show. Action-packed show. We've been live for 2 hours. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll have videos on the channel every day the rest of this week. Until then, we'll see you later. Thanks, guys.